Microsoft Entra ID is a cloud-based directory and identity management service that supports user access to various resources and applications. You work for a large multinational company that has recently adopted Microsoft Entra ID. As an IT administrator, you're responsible for managing user access to different resources and applications. However, with a diverse workforce spread across multiple locations, ensuring secure and efficient access can be challenging. You need a solution that provides centralized identity management and offers robust security features. With Microsoft Entra ID, you can provide your users with seamless access to internal and external resources. By implementing Microsoft Entra ID, you can enhance security, improve productivity, and reduce costs for your organization. In this module, you learn about the key components and concepts of Microsoft Entra ID. The topics covered include tenants, identities, accounts, and Azure subscriptions. You explore the different editions of Microsoft Entra ID and their features. Additionally, you discover the benefits of self-service password reset. SSPR features and how to implement them for your organization. The goal of this module is to provide you with a better understanding of Microsoft Entra ID and its features. Learning objectives. In this module, you learn how to define Microsoft Entra concepts, including identities, accounts, and tenants. Describe Microsoft Entra features to support different configurations. Understand differences between Microsoft Entra ID and Active Directory Domain Services, ADS. Choose between supported editions of Microsoft Entra ID. Understand Microsoft Entra Join. Understand Microsoft Entra Self-Service Password Reset. Skills measured. The content in the module helps you prepare for exam AS 104, Microsoft Azure Administrator. Prerequisites. Understand basic concepts of centralized identity solutions. This knowledge includes identities, accounts, and authentication methods. Familiarity with on-premises versus cloud identity solutions. This knowledge includes common benefits and features. Next unit. Describe Microsoft Entra ID benefits and features. Continue. Having Describe Microsoft Entra ID benefits and features. Completed 100 XP. 3 minutes. Microsoft Entra ID is Microsoft's multi-tenant cloud-based directory and identity management service. Microsoft Entra ID helps to support user access to resources and applications, such as internal resources and apps located on your corporate network, external resources like Microsoft 365, the Azure portal, and SaaS applications, cloud apps developed for your organization. The following diagram shows an example implementation of Microsoft Entra ID. In this scenario, Windows Server ID is using Kerberos and NTLM authentication to on-premises applications. Things to know about Microsoft Entra features. Let's examine some of the prominent features of Microsoft Entra ID. Expand table. Azure Add Feature Description Single Sign-On SO Access Microsoft Entra ID provides secure single sign-on SO to web apps on the cloud and to on-premises apps. Users can sign in with the same set of credentials to access all their apps. Ubiquitous device support. Microsoft Entra ID works with iOS, Mac OS, Android, and Windows devices. And offers a common experience across the devices. Users can launch apps from a personalized web-based access panel, mobile app, Microsoft, or custom company portals by using their existing work credentials. Secure remote access. Microsoft Entra ID enables secure remote access for on-premises web apps. Secure access can include multi-factor authentication, MFA, conditional access policies, and group-based access management. Users can access on-premises web apps from everywhere, including from the same portal. Cloud extensibility. Microsoft Entra ID can extend to the cloud to help you manage a consistent set of users, groups, passwords, and devices across environments. Sensitive data protection. Microsoft Entra ID offers unique identity protection capabilities to secure your sensitive data and apps. Admins can monitor for suspicious sign-in activity and potential vulnerabilities in a consolidated view of users and resources in the directory. Self-service support. Microsoft Entra ID lets you delegate selected administrator tasks to company employees, providing self-service app access and password management through verification steps can reduce help desk calls and enhance security. Things to consider when using Microsoft Entra features. Microsoft Entra ID offers many features and benefits. Consider which features can be used to best support your corporate scenarios. Consider enabling single sign-on access. Enable SO access for your users to connect to the cloud or use on-premises apps. Microsoft Entra SSO supports Microsoft 365 and thousands of SaaS apps, such as Salesforce, Workday, DocuSign, ServiceNow, and Box. Consider UX and device support. Build a consistent user experience that works for all devices and directory access points. You can design custom company portals and personalized web-based access for your employees that lets them connect with their existing work credentials. Consider benefits of secure remote access. Protect your on-premises web apps by implementing secure remote access with MFA and access policies. Consider advantages of cloud extensibility. Connect Active Directory and other on-premises directories in the cloud to Microsoft Entra ID in just a few steps. You can make it easier for your admins to manage the same users, groups, passwords, and devices across all supported environments. Consider advanced protection for sensitive data. Enhance the security of your sensitive data and apps by using the built-in protection features of Microsoft Entra ID. Your admins can utilize advanced security reports, notifications, remediation recommendations, and risk-based policies. Consider reduced costs, self-service options. Take advantage of the Microsoft Entra self-service features to help reduce costs for your organization. Delegate certain tasks like resetting passwords or creating and managing groups to your known admin users. In the next unit, we explore the Microsoft Entra concepts that make these features possible. Next unit, describe Microsoft Entra concepts. Describe Microsoft Entra concepts. Completed 100 XP. 2 minutes. To implement Microsoft Entra ID in your corporate configuration, you need to understand the key components of the service. The following table describes the main components and concepts of Microsoft Entra ID and explains how they work together to support service features. Expand table. Azure Add Concept Description Identity. An identity is an object that can be authenticated. The identity can be a user with a username and password. Identities can also be applications or other servers that require authentication by using secret keys or certificates. Microsoft Entra ID is the underlying product that provides the identity service. An account is an identity that has data associated with it. To have an account, you must first have a valid identity. You can't have an account without an identity. Microsoft Entra Account and Azure Add Account is an identity that's created through Microsoft Entra ID or another Microsoft cloud service, such as Microsoft 365. Identities are stored in Microsoft Entra ID and are accessible to your organization's cloud service subscriptions. The Microsoft Entra account is also called a work or school account. Azure Tenant, Directory, and Azure Tenant is a single, dedicated, and trusted instance of Microsoft Entra ID. Each tenant, also called a directory, represents a single organization. When your organization signs up for a Microsoft Cloud Service subscription, a new tenant is automatically created. Because each tenant is a dedicated and trusted instance of Microsoft Entra ID, you can create multiple tenants or instances. Azure Subscription and Azure Subscription is used to pay for Azure Cloud Services. Each subscription is joined to a single tenant. You can have multiple subscriptions. Tip: if you're a Microsoft 365, Azure, or Dynamics CRM online customer, you might already be using Microsoft Entra ID. Every Microsoft, Azure, and Dynamics CRM tenant is already a Microsoft Entra tenant. You can start using your tenant to manage access to thousands of other cloud apps that integrate with Microsoft Entra ID. Next unit. Compare Active Directory domain services to Microsoft Entra ID. Continue. Having an issue? We can help. For issues related to this module, explore existing questions using the hashtag Azure Training Tag or ask a question on Microsoft Conda. For issues related to certifications and exams, compare Active Directory domain services to Microsoft Entra ID. Completed 100 XP. 2 minutes. Active Directory Domain Services, ADS, is the traditional deployment of Windows server-based Active Directory on a physical or virtual server. Active Directory Domain Services, ADS, also includes Active Directory Certificate Services, ADCs, Active Directory Lightweight Directory Services, ADLDS, Active Directory Federation Services, ADFS, and Active Directory Rights Management Services, ADRMS. Important. Although you can deploy and manage a DDS in Azure virtual machines, we recommend you use Microsoft Entra ID unless your configuration targets IaaS workloads that depend specifically on a DDS. Things to consider when using Microsoft Entra rather than a DDS. Microsoft Entra ID is similar to a DDS, but there are significant differences. It's important to understand that using Microsoft Entra ID for your configuration is different from deploying an Active Directory domain controller on an Azure virtual machine and then adding it to your on-premises domain. As you plan your identity strategy, consider the following characteristics that distinguish Microsoft Entra ID from a DDS. Identity solution. A DDS is primarily a directory service, while Microsoft Entra ID is a full identity solution. Microsoft Entra ID is designed for internet-based applications that use HTTP and HTTPS communications. The features and capabilities of Microsoft Entra ID support target strong identity management. Communication protocols. Because Microsoft Entra ID is based on HTTP and HTTPS, it doesn't use Kerberos authentication. Microsoft Entra ID implements HTTP and HTTPS protocols, such as SAML, WS Federation, and OpenID Connect for authentication, and OAuth for authorization. Federation services. Microsoft Entra ID includes federation services, and many third-party services like Facebook. Flat structure. Microsoft Entra users and groups are created in a flat structure. There are no organizational units or group policy objects, DPOs. Managed service. Microsoft Entra ID is a managed service. You manage only users, groups, and policies. If you deploy a DDoS with virtual machines by using Azure, you manage many other tasks, including deployment, configuration, virtual machines, patching, and other back-end processes. Next unit. Select Microsoft Entra Editions. Continue. Having an issue? We can help. Select Microsoft Entra Editions. Completed 100 XP. 3 minutes. Microsoft Entra ID comes in 4 editions. Free. Microsoft 365 apps, Premium P1, and Premium P2. The free edition is included with an Azure subscription. The premium editions are available through a Microsoft Enterprise Agreement, the Open Volume License Program, and the Cloud Solution Providers Program. Azure and Microsoft 365 subscribers can also buy Microsoft Entra ID P1 and P2 online. Things to know about Microsoft Entra Editions. Consider the following features that distinguish the different editions of Microsoft Entra ID. After you review the features and descriptions, think about which edition works best for your organization. An X indicates the feature is supported. Expand table. Feature free Microsoft 365 apps Premium Pwn Premium P2 Directory Objects 500. 0000 Unlimited Single Sign-On Unlimited Microsoft Entra ID Free. The free edition provides user and group management, on-premises directory synchronization, and basic reports. Single sign-on access is supported across Azure, Microsoft 365, and many popular SaaS apps. Microsoft Entra Microsoft 365 apps. This edition is included with Microsoft 365. In addition to the free features, this edition provides identity and access management for Microsoft 365 apps. The extra support includes branding, MFA, group access management, and self-service password reset for cloud users. Microsoft Entra ID Pwn. In addition to the free features, the Premium Pwn edition lets your hybrid users access both on-premises and cloud resources. This edition supports advanced administration like dynamic groups, self-service group management, and cloud write-back capabilities. P1 also includes Microsoft Identity Manager, an on-premises identity and access management suite. The extra features in P1 allow self-service password reset for your on-premises users. Microsoft Entra ID P2. In addition to the free and P1 features, the Premium P2 edition offers Microsoft Entra ID protection to help provide risk-based conditional access to your apps and critical company data. Privileged Identity Management is included to help discover, restrict, and monitor administrators and their access to resources, and to provide just-in-time access when needed. Tip: The Microsoft Entra pricing page has detailed information on what's included in each edition. Next, implement Microsoft Entra self-service password reset. Completed 100 XP. 2 minutes. Many help desk calls are requests to reset passwords for users. The Microsoft Entra self-service password reset (SSPR) feature lets you give users the ability to bypass help desk and reset their own passwords. Things to know about the Microsoft Entra SSPR feature. Examine the following characteristics and requirements of the SSPR feature. SSPR requires a Microsoft Entra account with global administrator privileges to manage SSPR options. This account can always reset their own passwords, no matter what options are configured. SSPR uses a security group to limit the users who have SSPR privileges. All user accounts in your organization must have a valid license to use SSPR. Things to consider when using SSPR. Your organization wants to implement support for SSPR in their management solution. As you plan for your configuration, review the following points. Consider who can reset their passwords. Decide which users in your organization should be enabled to use the feature. In the Azure portal, there are 3 options for the SSPR feature: None, Selected, and All. The selected option is useful for creating specific groups who have SSPR enabled. You can create groups for testing or proof of concept before applying the feature to a larger group. When you're ready to deploy SSPR to all user accounts in your Microsoft Entra tenant, you can change the setting. Consider your authentication methods. Determine how many authentication methods are required to reset a password, and select the authentication options for users. Your system must require at least one authentication method to reset a password. A strong SSPR plan offers multiple authentication methods for the user. Options include email notification, text message, or a security code sent to the user's mobile or office phone. You can also offer the user a set of security questions. You can require security questions to be registered for the users in your Microsoft Entra tenant. You can configure how many correctly answered security questions are required for a successful password reset. Consider combining methods for stronger security. Security questions can be less secure than other authentication methods. Some users might know the answers for a particular user's questions, or the questions might be easy to solve. If you support security questions, combine this option with other authentication methods. Next unit, knowledge check. Continue. Having an issue? We can help. For issues related to this module, explore existing questions using the hashtag Azure Training tag or ask a question on Microsoft Conda. For issues related to certifications and exams, post on Credentials Support Forum or visit our Credentials Help. Feedback. Was this page helpful? Yes, no.